when a situation was bad. So if I felt like I was awkward, then I was beating myself up like the next day, or so on and so on and so forth. So it's just like, and it got to points where it was pretty bad that it made me very depressed, because I was just like, wow, like I don't want to live my life like this. I don't want to be scared. I want to do things. I want to be successful. I want to be like this and that. But how can I be with living in fear and always thinking like the worst things?
Hi, my name is Sebastian van der Schreer. I'm a former social anxiety disorder sufferer and a social confidence coach, and I do a podcast, Social Anxiety Solutions, and I run a online community called the Social Confidence Club. And today I'm going to be interviewing Jessica, who reached out to Leah, our manager, and said, "Hey, I would like to, do a bit of an interview because I'm doing quite well these days." And so she courageously reached out, and we just had a little intro chat. And I said, "Thank you for doing this." And she said, "Yeah, it helped me a lot making the decision to join the Social Confidence Club last time when I saw interviews for other people. So I'd like to do the same." So awesome. So first of all, thank you very much. That's very, very nice of you. Appreciate it. What I usually like to do in these interviews is first get a bit of a idea of how it was, because people can relate to the pain of the suffering quite well. So what was your experience with social anxiety like before you joined?
I was struggling with social anxiety for as long as I can remember. Definitely was really bad. Like I was when I was in high school, so over like 15 years or so. Even before then. But it's like, a lot of people, I would tell them too, like, oh, like maybe if I brought it up with my mom or somebody, and people would be like, what do you mean? You're fine. You don't have any anxiety. And that was something that was always so frustrating to me. And I always felt super alone, because it's a very rare, I guess, type of anxiety for most people to understand. And
yeah, if they've got it, if they don't have it, they don't understand it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And it definitely it just took a toll on so much of my life. I always was overthinking all the time, every situation I was in, and it's like I had worse anxiety with even like family members, like certain people, or like even certain people that I was like closer with. So it was totally dependent on, I guess, on the maybe, like, I don't know, the vibe that I got from some people or something like that. But it was hard for me to do many things and like speak my mind. And I just was always second guessing myself in all areas of my life. And it was really hard in relationships too. When I wanted to be in any like good relationship, I just felt like I didn't even know how to be myself. And I was like, oh my God, is this who I am? Like I'm just like a scared person or something like that. I just was like, it was so frustrating, and it was like super debilitating. And I just was always in my head, and I was scared to do certain things. And it varied. Like some things I would be okay with, but a lot of the time, like going out, meeting new people, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to be with this person. And then, when a situation was bad, so if I felt like I was awkward, then I was beating myself up like the next day, or so on and so on and so forth. So it's just like, and it got to points where it was pretty bad that it made me very depressed, because I was just like, wow, like I don't want to live my life like this. I don't want to be scared. I want to do things. I want to be successful. I want to be like this and that. But how can I be with living in fear and always thinking like the worst things, even before events, or before like things would happen? Like even I would want to go out somewhere, go to the store, and then I would be kind of scared if I'd run into somebody, and like, God forbid I didn't have my hair done or this or that. It's just like this huge thing. And then, I worried more about what I'd look like too. And if I looked worse, then it was worse. It's just like, it's this whole thing.
Crazy. Yeah. And did you, like, for some people, it's like the same in all situations. Yeah, I just feel the anxiety all the time. And for other people, there's like something that stands out that is more, that's like the biggest problem. Did you have anything like that, or what
Yeah.
was it for you?
Yeah, and it definitely, like I said, I felt comfortable in certain situations, like with certain people. It's almost like if there was like one person or like a certain friend that was with me in a certain situation, then maybe I'd be okay. But
Mm.
it happened a lot when I was by myself. Like if I had to go somewhere alone or be in a situation alone where I was like, I don't know, like any of these people, I don't know how I'm gonna react with any of this. Like I might just be super quiet. So I think a lot of the fear was just like having to do things like on my own, and how would I be and how would I react. And um, there was never like I wasn't as it's weird because I wasn't as scared to speak like in public around like a bunch of people or something like with like that, but it was like little situations where it was like intimate with people I don't know, then that's terrifying. But it's almost like if it was a bigger crowd, which I wasn't really speaking in front of people that often, but I remember in high school I did, and like that was okay for me. But it was just so particular, like little situations. And then, I got in my head more if there's like particular people that I knew I was so anxious around. It's just like I know already, and I already have that in my head, and like I prejudged the situation.
Hmm. Yeah, right. You're
Mhm.
like, I know I'm gonna be anxious around them, and then worried about that, and yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
got it.
Totally.
And
Mhm.
do you know, do you remember like what you were afraid of specifically?
I think it's just always those like, saying something stupid. I always like it was always revolving around that, or like feeling like a loser, but mostly being like, oh, you know, oh, if I say something stupid and I don't sound smart, or, like, oh, this person's gonna think I'm an idiot, that kind of thing. It was always
Mm,
revolving around that. I always wanted to seem like I knew what I was talking about.
got it. Got it. Got it. Yeah. Interestingly enough, um, a lot of the fears that well, I say we people who have social anxiety to such a degree that we actually need to do work on it to address it, that we experience. Most people have some social anxiety too, and they have the same fears, but they just have them a tiny bit, and they can still properly
Mhm.
function. So it's I think it's relatable to most people. Like I do this work already for 12, 13 years, and so people ask me, so what do you do? And I explain what I do, and they're like, oh, okay, I have that. Like lots of
Yeah.
people actually say, oh, I have that problem. What should
Mhm.
I do to fix it? But I'm like,
Mhm.
well, you don't have it that bad, because we're having a
Mhm.
normal conversation here and you're not freaking out.
Mhm.
um, that being said, some people that I have told in the past actually got really uncomfortable and awkward. Oh, you do that, right? Like shit. Well, I'm
Mhm.
having that problem right now. Like they didn't say it, but I could see that they were uncomfortable with me sharing. Anyway, I like my own stories a little bit too much. Um,
It's all
here we
right.
go. So okay, so that was your experience, and then how did you find out about the Social Confidence Club, or what was your experience with my work or tapping or something like
Mhm.
that?
So it was actually like several years prior to me joining that I had just looked up, social anxiety, like things to help online, and I had found you, and I was listening to your podcast for like many like throughout the years. And then there was times where I was like, I kind of pushed my social anxiety to the side. I was like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. And then I found it got worse um, this past time. I think it was last year in like January or something, when I saw that you had the 30-day little like little promotion thing or whatever.
Social Confidence
And
Challenge.
yeah, the challenge, exactly. And then I decided to enter in that. And then that's when I joined the club after that.
Hmm. Gotcha.
Yeah, and I had tried some of your your tapping and like a couple of the videos, and I was always interested in it because I know it made me feel a lot calmer, and it was just it was something I had never tried that I was very interested in. So that's why.
Mm.
And I knew like you had suffered, and it was just more like understanding than anything else I'd ever tried before.
Got it. What did you try
Yeah.
before?
I have done different kinds of, like, I've done like Reiki and some other just like counseling and therapy and that kind of stuff. What else have I tried? I think that's pretty much about it.
And what were your results with that?
I just found like kind of talking about it like with a, counselor, and like it was nice, but it just wasn't like, I needed like solutions, things I could even
Mm,
do on my own, and I just wasn't getting like results, or like it would seem like it was okay, and I would, feel better for a little while, and then it would always like come back in like just this full force, and I was just like, oh my God. And it was just that always
mm,
big fear of like, oh, I'm good for, maybe I feel better for these 2 months or whatever, but who knows what's going to happen. So that's when
mm-hmm.
I started seeing so many results from, the group, and from, well, watching other people's videos who had results from being in the club. So that's when I was like, okay, I think I gotta
Got it.
do
Got it.
this.
Got it. And did
Mhm.
you have any concern before joining that, like, was this is some marketing question that I found
Mm.
online, which kind of
Mhm.
helps to come up with thoughts, bring to the forefront thoughts that people might have in anticipation of joining that might make them not join, you know?
Mhm.
Were there any obstacles in your mind that you were having that made you consider not joining the club?
I think I was just, concerned as I used to be, of like, oh, this might just be another thing that's going to help me temporarily. Like, there's another thing I'm going to spend money on, and it's just going to, maybe it's not going to actually, maybe it's just going to be temporary. It'll work for a bit and then it won't. But then
Mm,
I saw that there were so many people in it. And from all the videos that you had of people who, had results from the club, it was nice and reassuring to be like, wow, like these other people have exactly the same experiences as I do, or it's very similar. So it was really reassuring because I've never had like so many people who understand how I felt.
mm,
And it was a huge problem, and a very like lonely feeling.
mm-hmm. Got it.
Mhm.
Got it. And and then when so then you joined, and what do you like most about it, about Social Confidence Club?
I think one of my favorite things, again, it's just I actually met and I still talk to several people from the club. Still have a little like WhatsApp group with a couple girls and stuff, and like just meeting so many people who understood how I felt, and even could converse like throughout the day, or whenever, and be like, oh, I'm having this little situation, and someone would be like, yeah, been there, I feel like
Mm-mm.
that too, or I felt like that too, you can do this kind of thing. That, yeah, just the fact that it was a group, like it just felt like, I was finally understood by a bunch of other people that, from all over the world, experiencing so many same things.
Yeah,
It's really nice.
cool to
Hmm.
hear that. Yeah, I started the Social Confidence Club, and because I thought that there's going to be, because I do the weekly coaching sessions, people are going to be tapping along with that. That's going to bring more process. It's going to be dripped, so it's going to be easier for people to consume. And yes, there'll be
Hmm.
also the connection that people have. But I didn't foresee the massive healing effect of the community element beforehand.
Hmm.
That's like, and I'm reading more about that now, and it's very interesting actually. You know,
Hmm.
but it makes total sense because it helps you see that you're not so weird after all. and that you're
Exactly.
not alone with this issue that you have. And it's very comforting and soothing to be understood.
Yeah.
Little side story. I told you I like my own stories a little bit too much. I had a I had a panic attack once. It's a long story how that panic attack came about. Good story, but like I said, we'll keep it short. I had that panic attack and it was really, really bad. And I didn't know what was happening to me. And then while we were on the water on the boat, I was having this panic attack, and eventually I was talking to my girlfriend at the time, and I told her finally what was going on with me in the middle of it. It had calmed down a bit, but I was still freaking out. And I told her all the symptoms, and she's like, you're having a panic attack. I've had many of those. And just hearing that, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, there's nothing wrong with me. There's actually, this has a name and other people have it. And that reassured me already. It didn't actually resolve it. I needed other stuff to resolve it, but just, that was reassuring. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what are some other things that you like? What are 3 other things that you like from the club?
Well, obviously, I really like all the work that you do and everything. So that's really nice. And you sent us all information, emails, and like things to do every day. And I got a binder, and I would like print things out. Like, I made it like a little, I don't know, like a little exciting school thing for me or something. I don't know. And
Cool.
it was nice to go over that once in a while. And you had some videos I could just go back on when I'd have like a situation where it was really bad and I felt anxious after and embarrassed. I would do a little tap on that, and it would release it. So it was like we had the club, we had all that, we had our our meetings and everything, but you also had, I never felt alone after, like it wasn't just like the webinars and then I wouldn't um, have anything. It's like I had things to go back on all the time, and all like the videos and things that you would send us, daily or whenever. And then, talking to people also throughout the week, and just trying to make more friends with people who understand. And yeah, that was really nice. Having all the stuff to read too that you sent, and just being able to go back on everything whenever it was needed.
Yeah. Hey, you made some friends out of it as well.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's really cool, and it's interesting to see other people's progress, and yeah, you kind of have to. It put me out of my comfort zone a little more too, to try to make some friends out of it, and meet people from other places in the world that you can stay in contact with, that still know what you've been through, and can really understand it. And yeah.
Nice. Nice. And so how is it now? What has changed?
Yeah, I think so much has changed, honestly. I don't overthink. I don't even consider myself like to have social anxiety at all anymore. There might be situations I feel anxious here and there, or whatever randomly, but I don't see it as like, oh my God, it's this huge problem. It's just kind of like, a phase. I really think the club also helped me understand myself even more too, which was nice. And I realized, like, and I think, a lot of us that have social anxiety are very like highly sensitive people, and that's not a bad thing, but you just kind of have to, you have to really understand that, and see how that can kind of help you shift things in your life. But yeah, after, actually still during the club, I got into really a nice relationship, and I'm still in it, and it's really good, and it's like the best relationship I've been able to communicate and like actually have someone understand me and not judge me for. And I've like brought up I had social anxiety, and he's like, oh yeah, I've had that, or whatever. Like, just or whatever. I'm like, yeah, right. But
awesome.
and just being able to, finally put myself out there, and then, develop relationships, even other friendships now, um, just in a better way of communicating and not being so scared to. I think that was always a problem with me, even in friendships, just scared to communicate how I feel about things, and usually just avoiding things because I don't want someone to not like me, or I want to. That was always a huge thing. And now, I mean, even able to do that. Of course, I still, have my own building to do with, things of myself, or more confidence always and stuff. But that part is just totally changed. Like the tapping is such a healing thing for me. I'll even do it randomly sometimes still now, just if I feel something, or just anything, because it just makes me feel calm and good, and it's something that I know works. So yeah.
It's a tool for life. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Nice. And so you're in a relationship now too. That's wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
It's amazing what happens when you like I say this as well. It's like anxiety, social anxiety, when it gets so bad that it forces you to do something about it, you're forced to then look at what's actually causing the anxiety, because the anxiety is just a symptom that gets your attention. And then when you start resolving the stuff that actually triggers the anxiety, you increase your self-esteem, you build your self-acceptance. It's like kind of what you described as well. And you just get to know yourself better, and you just become a person who's more comfortable in your own, his or her own skin. And from that place, your life just starts to improve because you show up differently. You have a different vibe. When you're more at ease and you're more comfortable, things just open up.
Totally, 100%. And I don't find that I'm scared anymore to even explain how I felt, or like that I've had social anxiety and I've experienced these different things. It's almost like, this is what it was. And I was even telling some other friends in the group that, like, this is a thing now that, we've been through, that we can help other people with. And it's, some people maybe never experience it, but not that we're lucky in any way, but, it's something that we know. And if somebody else experiences it, then we fully understand it. But yeah, I'm not embarrassed at all with anything, or like to say, like, even throughout the club, I started noticing I was less like worried about it, because I would even tell like some friends, like, oh yeah, I have like, my little, I would just call it like a little group session or therapy or something, like healing little thing, to some people. And I wasn't embarrassed to say that, or like talk about what it was about. And I just kind of like sort of started peeling away at a lot of things. And I think I just developed a lot more acceptance of what I've been through and who I am. So.
Absolutely. Well, that's one of the 3 key pillars: acceptance.
Yes.
Achieving acceptance, clearing resistance, and actually working through the triggers. And coming to terms with the issue, and learning to accept all of yourself. That's ticket to freedom. So I'm happy that's working out well. So that's very cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Let me look at my list of questions that I jotted down, because maybe I'm forgetting some. Yes. Do you recommend the Social Confidence Club? And if so, why?
Yeah, absolutely. I just think it's a place where you feel safe, and like people understand you. And it's also, compared to other forms of things that you could do to try to help yourself, it's a lot like of a cheaper route too. And it's, again, you're in a group, so it's just something about that, I think, is really, it's a really strong dynamic. So I 100% would recommend it. And you can go back and listen to things, and it's really good. And then you just tap the whole time, and it's relaxing, and it just has so many different kinds of so many different kinds of benefits for the
Mm.
for the price, because I know I was always kind of concerned about that too. I was like, oh, because it's always, money can always be another anxiety or that kind of thing. But, for other things that I've paid for not getting results, or, you go one therapy session, like how like expensive it can add up and make you feel more like anxious and stressed. So, oops.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Then final question. Anything else you'd like to add?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I just think tapping is a wonderful, it's a wonderful form of therapy, I like to say. And it's something that's different, and it's worth trying for everybody. Everybody doesn't, you don't even have to, like have, I don't know, a specific issue or problem. It really releases your body, or just like relaxes a lot of your nerves and everything. And yeah, I just think being in a group with people who understand you is really powerful. And that alone, I think right away, even once I got in and I met a couple of people, right away I was like, I just felt like that little bit of a shift, like, okay, and again, maybe not for, everybody is going to, have super fast results. I was in the group for I was in the group for a couple months. And then, you got to work on things after and do other stuff, but it's a step in a really positive direction, I think. And there's not a lot of ton of things for social anxiety, like, still, I feel like,
Mm.
um, there's just not a lot of other routes to go. And yeah, EFT definitely helps, and you help so much because you dealt with it yourself, and you've been doing this for years, helping everyone. So yeah, it's really positive environment, and it's really, really good group
Mm.
club. Yeah.
Awesome.
So if you want to have the highest likelihood of joining the Social Confidence Club, sign up for the early announcement list. Then you'll be the first to know when we actually open the club. And you can sign up for that by going to bit.ly/social confidence club. bit.ly/social confidence club.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for sharing. Much appreciated.
Yeah, for sure.
Very, very cool. Okay, I will end this in a very official way. So this is Sebastian from socialanxietysolutions.com. We have a new social conference club, a new year social conference club that's going to open somewhere in February. If you're listening to this, you're probably listening to this on my podcast or my YouTube channel. If you're on my email list, you will be notified about it. Probably I'll be telling you about it on my YouTube channel as well. So if you want to get on the email list, you can go to socialanxietysolutions.com, click on Overcome Social Anxiety, and you'll find information there. Right on. Thank you very much again, Jessica. And
Thank you.
yes, everyone else, see you very soon. Bye for now.